Good evening and welcome to Marquette Now. I'm Riley Tracy.
And I'm Shane Hogan. Election Day is less than 3 weeks away.
Online registration for Wisconsin voters ends today, but that doesn't mean you can't vote. Donna Sarkar will tell you how to register.
Freedom can take many different forms. With October 17th as the last day to register to vote online, many Marquette students know what's at stake in this upcoming election.
I'm absolutely going to encourage my friends to vote because I think that because they're citizens of the United States, it's quintessential that they vote and let their voice be known. And also, it'll make me really mad if my friends don't vote because they know how badly I want them to vote.
I encourage all my friends to vote. I think it's an important thing. I think it's a way to make your voice heard.
Marquette's Alumni Memorial Union has a voter registration table. University policy requires having resources available to help students with the registration process.
There, you'd ask to apply for Marquette voter ID card. You'll fill out a little form, and then they'll just swipe your ID. So the university has an obligation under federal law to provide voter education and voter assistance for our students.
Another Marquette student took matters into her own hands. Linnea Stanton is the head of the Milwaukee chapter of March for Our Lives.
The national chapter of March for Our Lives had the idea to make the QR codes into a shirt, and so it was actually their idea to start selling these shirts in the first place. And then the idea for giving out the shirts came from this initiative we're doing called Turnout Tuesday.
It's just as easy as logging into your Snapchat and scanning the t-shirt code. From Schrader Hall, I'm Donna Sarkar from Marquette Wire News.
This year's midterm elections are really ramping up in Wisconsin.
Attorney General candidates Brad Schimel and Josh Call debated the issues at Marquette Law School on Sunday.
During the debate, both candidates discussed Wisconsin issues from Foxconn to water quality to the justice system. Both agreed that they will be a watchdog for Wisconsinites. Now let's look at each candidate's standings. Republican incumbent Brad Schimel has been Wisconsin's Attorney General for 4 years. He was also the district attorney for Waukesha County. The October 2018 Marquette Law School poll shows him polling at 47%. On the other side of the coin, Josh Call is Schimel's Democratic challenger. Call is Wisconsin native, but was most recently a prosecutor in Baltimore. He's polling at 43%. Those numbers are within the margin of error.
The law school will also host a televised debate this Friday between incumbent U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin and Republican opponent Leah Vukmir. Baldwin has been the Democratic incumbent for 5 years, while Vukmir sits in the Wisconsin Senate. Baldwin has a solid lead on Vukmir, 53% to 43%. The Friday debate at 6 p.m. will include questions on healthcare and immigration reform.
Students voting in Milwaukee County on November 6th will get to voice their opinion on the recreational use of marijuana. The referendum will only measure public opinion and won't guarantee any changes. The question will read, quote, "Do you favor allowing adults 21 years of age and older to engage in the personal use of marijuana while also regulating commercial marijuana-related activities and imposing a tax on the sale of marijuana?"
The Racine County Sheriff's Office says a Marquette graduate student has passed away yesterday in a car accident. President Lovell said in an email that Allison Olesinski was pursuing her master's degree in the College of Nursing. She was from Green Bay. Racine County said they believe neither drugs nor alcohol were involved in the crash.
Work is underway on the campus master plan that President Lovell presented in 2016. The Physician's Assistant Studies building is the newest project. Clara Jansen reports.
I'm here at 17th and Clybourne, where the new Marquette University Physician's Assistant School is under construction. The $18 million project is a step up from the school's old location, just a few blocks from here. This is just one of many projects slated to be completed within the next decade, as part of University President Michael Lovell's campus master plan that he laid out when he started here 5 years ago.
The university held several presentations this month for curious members of the public to come and get a glimpse of the future. We caught up with University Vice President for Planning Laura Strigens, who is responsible for leading the implementation of the master plan.
So our goal when we completed the master plan is that we wanted to at least have a start on all of our priority projects within the next 5 years of when we completed it.
Each generation seems to get a whole new influx of buildings, which is great because you hear from students, they say, oh, I'm not going to get to enjoy that. It won't be finished before I graduate. But the next generation gets something.
The AHPRC Striggins is referencing is the Athletic and Human Performance Research Center, which is nearing completion. The facility, located across from the Al McGuire Center, is expected to be finished this winter.
From the construction site of the new Physician's Assistant School, I'm Clara Jansen, Marquette Wire News.
Funding is on the way for new technology that will have a big impact on the university's research capabilities. Marquette received a nearly $700,000 grant from the National Science Foundation to help secure a new supercomputing cluster. President Lovell set a goal to double university research by 2020. This investment could help achieve that.
The investigations editor of the Indianapolis Star is continuing to speak on the organization's in-depth piece on Larry Nassar's abuse of child gymnasts. Steve Berta was the guest speaker at the Burley Media Ethics Lecture last Thursday. His team of reporters pursued sexual abuse allegations against Nassar for 18 months. Nassar was later convicted and sentenced to up to 175 years in prison.
Midterms are finally over and fall break is here. But through this week, students blew off steam in a few different ways. Grace Terry shares their methods.
While this workout might appear as a strain on the body, it's putting the mind at ease.
I think it's a good way to take what you're feeling on the inside and literally move it out of you by taking your energy and your stress and your anger and your excitement sometimes and putting it towards something physical like running or lifting or whatever. It takes kind of that like jittery anxiety that you feel out, and then your mind is way clearer to focus on your goals.
80% of college students report experiencing daily stress, according to the Associated Press. While exercising is one way to relieve stress, kicking back and relaxing is another way.
Usually I just watch TV, like sports. I usually use it at the end of the day just because if I do it in my day or whatever, like in the middle of it, I tend to get distracted then throughout the rest of the day. So it's a nice way to end the studying for the night.
Participating in and appreciating athletic activities may be the best way to relieve stress for some, but stress relief can also be found through music.
I'll come home and it's something that I can focus my time on, but it's not academic related, so it won't be stressful, it won't be like mentally taxing. I can really just let myself flow with it and just play songs that I know, songs that make me happy, songs that make me sad, whatever mood I'm in, I can just play, and it's something else that I can focus on that just really makes me feel good.
I'm Grace Terry, Marquette Wire News.
One of Marquette's very own is finding YouTube fame. His flute lesson videos have gained over 5 million views. Abdallah Al-Good reports.
As if upon impact.
This is Father Ryan Dunns. He's an assistant professor at Marquette University. He's also a bit of a celebrity on Google's popular streaming service, YouTube.
When I play, I'm playing something I've inherited from generations gone by. My grandparents are long deceased, my aunt is long deceased. But they live on in the music that I continue to play.
He raps all the texts that he makes us read together, and because when reading them separately, they don't make all that much sense how they connect, but then he'll connect them for you in class, and then it just really opens your mind up.
Irish music has become popular, and so people like it. And I did this just out of the necessity to teach a college course, but it turned into something much more because it met a need that people had. It met a hunger.
Father Ryan produces the videos himself, either on his phone or on his computer.
You ready? So welcome to Marquette University's Irish Tune of the Week. This is live of a sort from my office. And the fact that others can share in this from all around the world, people who might have access to a computer but not another living music teacher, it's really humbling to know that I've helped people connect to something bigger than themselves.
No matter what adventure Father Ryan goes on next, he will always carry the song of home. This is Abdullah El Gaoud, Marquette Wire.
Well, Riley, the fall weather is finally here.
Shane, that wind hardly feels like fall.
That's true. Let's send it over to weather with Chris Reisner.
Thank you, Shane and Riley. The cold has come upon us rather quickly. It was in the 70s last week. Right now, dropped to about 42 degrees here in Milwaukee. Dew point of 27 degrees. Humidity is what you're going to see typically in the fall, about 55%, and winds coming in through the north at about 8 miles per hour. If we look around the state of Wisconsin, up in Superior, 32 degrees right at the freezing point, 30 in Minocqua. We're going to see it hovering around that low 30s, high 30s mark, and 42 as aforementioned in Milwaukee. Looking to the state tomorrow, it's going to heat up a little bit. 61 degrees up in Superior, 55 in Minocqua, 60 over in Eau Claire, 55 for Green Bay. It's a little brisk and chilly, but Aaron Rodgers is probably still warm after his performance on Monday night, and 55 in Milwaukee, around the same. Tonight, it's going to be a little bit chillier, 31 degrees. Might want to bundle up, grab some blankets. Humidity staying around 55%, and the winds going northwest at about 5 miles per hour. If we look tomorrow, it's going to heat up again, 56 degrees, comfortable. Maybe we will get some nice fall weather at some point, and the humidity staying consistent. Winds southwest increasing to about 13 miles per hour, moving into the forecast over the next 5 days or so. Friday, the Brewers come back on Friday to take on the Dodgers. They fell tonight. It'll be 55 and partially cloudy for that game. In case they lose, it's going to have some drizzles on Saturday, but let the rain wash away all the pain of yesterday if they fall on Friday. The sun will come out tomorrow, Sunday, 47, 54 degrees on Monday, continuing to 48 degrees on Tuesday. And that is all I have for you for the weather, so stick around for more news after the break.
Welcome back. For the director of the Marquette Symphony Orchestra, the lines between music genres aren't always clear-cut.
And one member has been playing since 1981. He's still going strong. Jack Ryan has the story.
Better, yeah.
When you think of a symphony orchestra director, you wouldn't expect them to have had this dream.
When I very first started getting serious about music, I was a drum set player in a garage rock band. And I thought that's what I was going to do.
But director Dr. Eric Jagger found a passion for directing Marquette Symphony Orchestra.
It's one of the most stimulating things you can do.
Marquette Symphony Orchestra had their first concert this past Sunday in Varsity Theater. All 5 of their concerts are free to the public, The orchestra contains 59 students and one unexpected member. Father Michael Zepps has continued to play his violin for 37 years now.
I come twice a week and I play with them and I enjoy it very much. The music is very challenging for somebody of my limited talents, but I enjoy it very much.
Zepps has seen the orchestra grow from when he joined in 1981, from 5 or 6 students to 60 students who now fill up the stage of varsity theater.
How good they are when they come in and how much better they are, especially at leading sections by the time they leave. They're a marvelous group of students.
From Varsity Theater, I'm Jack Ryan, Marquette Wire News.
Are you struggling during job interviews? Well, this might help. Second City performers are hosting a workshop on using improv skills to get ahead of their career competition. The workshop is Friday at the Marcus Center for the Performing Arts.
MU Radio's Open Mic Night gives students the chance to share their artistic talents, whether it's stand-up comedy, music, or poetry. Blake Rupe has the action.
The smell of coffee wasn't the only thing on the menu at the Marquette Brew Cafe. For some, their cup of coffee had a special dash of melody. For Sam Kaiwa, music has had early beginnings prior to Open Mic Night.
I have a bunch of records back home, and so I have a bunch of the Temptations, a lot of Stevie Wonder, Smokey Robinson, James Brown, a lot of James Brown.
And for others, music has been based on their instrumental upbringing.
I was in a song and dance group for a couple of years, and my director was more like a mentor to me, and so I think he always saw potential in me, but he would put me in the back row, and I have to earn my spot in the front. So stuff like that, I think, has made me want to keep singing.
So for me, that means music. Being content with my ability, being content with the songs I'm able to play.
Reporting from the AMU, I'm Blake Rupe, Marquette Wire News.
Some of us like to relax, unwind, and play on the couch with their video games.
But for others, it's ruthless battle for first place. Anthony Symboli reports.
Everybody is getting ready for the big fight, and they all came prepared. The Marquette Gaming and Esports organization hosted its 4th Super Smash Bros. Tournament this weekend in the AMU. For $3, Marquette's best gamers got together to discuss strategy.
Normally I play Fox. He's one of the high-tier characters. He's very privileged in that he can do all these fast moves.
Zelda and Palutena have basic but fun aerial combos that work well.
And also compete for prizes.
Actually, a lot of the people, even if they're not here or at Marquette anymore, have come back to help support the tournament and also try to win some prize pool money.
Even Patrick, the president of the gaming club, got involved.
I did. I lost. I played better than I thought I was going to, though, so that was nice, but I lost already.
Patrick says that the organization has grown, as shown by the number of gamers participating.
Spring Melee had 15 entrants, and Spring Smash 4 has 23. This one has 31 in Smash 4 and 30 in Melee, so it doubled for Melee and increased in Smash 4, so it's really cool.
The Gaming and Esports organization hopes to continue growing by hosting events much like this one. At the AMU, I'm Anthony Symboli, Marquette Wire News.
After the break, Zoe Comerford has a sports update.
Plus, an all-new Down to the Wire with Jack Ryan.
Welcome back to Marquette Now. I'm Zoe Comerford with your Marquette Sports Update. The women's volleyball team have now picked up their 6th and 7th consecutive sweeps against Seton Howell on Saturday and St. John's on Sunday. The Golden Eagles still took on the Red Storm despite flight complications on the way to New York. However, that did not take them out of their game as they still swept St. John's. In the match, junior Allie Barber led Marquette with 16 kills. Senior Anna Hawk recorded a double-double, having 12 kills and 15 digs. The Golden Eagles now lead the Big East in hitting percentage, assists, kills, and service aces. The team is on a 7-game winning streak. Following these wins, Marquette moves up to number 18 in the NCAA rankings as they have an overall record of 17-4 and Big East record of 8-1. Marquette will take on DePaul at the Al McGuire Center this Friday at 7 p.m. In men's soccer action, the Golden Eagles are out of their 428-minute scoring drought after their win against St. John's Saturday. Juniors Josh Cohn, Luca Perpa, and Connor Alba, as well as freshman Lucas Sunison, had goals on the night. Cohn's goal in the 41st minute ended Marquette's scoreless October. Sunison put the game away with his breakaway goal. Following that win, the Golden Eagles moved up to an overall record of 4-7-1 and 2-2-1 in Big East play, tying for 4th in the league. Marquette hosts Xavier on Saturday at Valley Fields at 7:05 p.m. However, women's soccer did not have as much luck in Cincinnati, falling to the Xavier Musketeers 3-0, reducing their Big East tournament hopes. Although the Golden Eagles outshot the Musketeers 16-13, their defensive efforts were not strong enough to overcome Xavier. The first goal was from Claire Fisher in the 40th minute, followed by Molly McLaughlin and Samantha Dewey. The women fall to 3-10-2 overall, dropping to 9th place at 1-4-1 in the Big East. They take on Georgetown tomorrow at 7 p.m. at Valley Fields. That's all I have for sports. Don't go anywhere. Down to the Wire is next after the break. Steve Berta's visit to campus has a lot of people talking this week.
That includes our own Joseph Beard and Jack Ryan. It's time for Down to the Wire.
Thanks, Riley and Shane. I'm here with Joseph Beard to talk about his coverage of the Burley Media Ethics Lecture and its guest, Steve Berta of the Indy Star.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Joe, can you briefly tell us what Steve Berta is known for and why he visited campus?
Yeah, so Steve Berta is the investigations editor at the Indianapolis Star, and along with a team of 5 other reporters, they covered the sexual assault, abuse, and allegations against USA Gymnastics and Dr. Larry Nassar. And he was here at Marquette because the O'Brien sponsored an award by the American Society of News Editors. So they spent over 18 months just covering this story and researching and going across country and talking to victims and finding court hearings and stuff. And Steve Berta has a really impressive career with over 40 years of experience in journalism, and Marquette was really lucky to have him.
And so it's been a year now since Larry Nassar has been convicted and sentenced for child sex abuse. What impact has this case had?
When the allegations first broke, and it was when it first was covered in the news, it was right around the time of the Me Too movement in Hollywood, and so that definitely had an impact there. But still to this day, the movement is going on strong, and it's allowing victims to speak up and feel confident and comfortable, and it's making sexual assault, bringing it to the light, and
And so now, do you believe there are unanswered questions about the Larry Nassar case?
Definitely, not necessarily by the newspaper, but just the nature of the scandal. It was institutionalized, and that's what the issue is with so many of these things, because it was institutionalized and so many people were either paid by Larry himself or his lawyers. So many people were paid off, and victims were silenced. There's still other people that are in question and need to serve justice for covering up these crimes.
And now, going back to the lecture, what stood out to you about this lecture in particular?
Well, obviously, sexual assault is such a emotional and intense issue, and what I was so shocked by was the team of reporters, how dedicated they were to the story, and they didn't let their emotions get the best of them. They were always very focused and focusing on the story, and there was a lot of opportunities where they could have just taken a little piece of information and reported that, but they wanted to make sure that they would have been able to be as effective as possible and really allow the victims to be heard, and they were fact-checking, and just their dedication was really inspiring, and the work that they did was truly incredible.
And so now you're a student journalist, and so what can student journalists and your peers take away from this?
So in general, it's just how to do the job, really. They have such a good ethical code, and just being a voice for others, and their dedication to the truth was really inspiring.
And thanks for coming onto the show, Joseph. Back to you, Riley and Shane.
Thanks for tuning in to Marquette Now. For more news, visit marquettewire.org. I'm Riley Tracy.
And I'm Shane Hogan. Good night, Marquette.